And I mean, this kid that just went to jail, 17-year-old, has been arrested for 2 counts of murder. One, he traveled from Illinois. I can't remember the town exactly, but he came over from Illinois, I think Antioch, Illinois.
Okay.
To be a part of this honeypot. Come on, hey, my fellow patriots, come on down and help us defend God's country, type of shit. So this dumb 17-year-old goes down there. Kyle Rittenhouse is his name. He drove down there to be a part of the Patriot Defenders or whatever the fuck. It appears, at least from the videos I've seen, he was defending himself. But this is going to be a really messy case because he went over state lines. The gun may not have been his. They're saying the gun was taken from his parents, maybe. There's a lot of very problematic elements to this case.
Well, I mean, I've seen people saying that even if it was self-defense, he was 17, so he wasn't legally allowed to open carry. He crossed state lines, like you said. So it really, there is 2 completely different narratives going on right now with this. They weren't being peaceful, the protesters, as it were. It's
No, they're being animals.
Yeah.
And this is going to be another situation where the state is basically just going to co-sign one side and let one side run wild while the other side is the only side that gets the law sort of enforced. So I don't think it's fair, and I think this is bullshit. But mark my words, this case now is going to be the next 6 months of, you know, the people that just hate white people screaming at the people who just hate black people. You know what I mean? And there's going to be no nuance. There's going to be no, you know, there's going to be no, the way the justice system used to work where people actually sit down and they go, okay, look, murder one, clearly not the case here. But this kid's got to go to jail, right? Like there's that old fucking nuanced, compromised approach to life that we used to have in this country. Okay, we agree. This kid should probably maybe get charged with something. He can't just walk.
Well, maybe just charged with, you know, because, again, someone brought up a good point in the chat. Like, you could defend yourself, you know, this is a separate charge. Maybe for crossing state lines with a gun, I understand.
But if it's not his gun, it's still going to be some kind of a murder charge. Because it's still, like...
You think so?
Yeah, you stole a gun. You can't use a stolen gun to kill somebody. It's technically shooting somebody... Because you're carrying an illegal firearm. So I've seen DAs do this where they stretch this because they have, you know, if you shoot somebody or if somebody just even dies in the commission of a felony that you're a part of, you're going to get murder one. That's the way it walks. That's the way it works. So if I have a stolen gun, that's a felony. If I shoot you with a stolen gun, my possession of the gun, illegal gun, is me committing a felony. I also shot you in the commission of a felony. That's capital murder. There's really no way to justify. Now I don't know if the gun's stolen. Gun may not be stolen. I know he's a little young.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think it might be.
It was like somebody else's that I'm not saying
family member's gun,
but that's still stealing a gun. Like I can't take your gun without permission.
No,
and just
I
run
get it,
across
yeah.
state lines to join a riot. You can't. That you can't do. Right. So it's. I agree that this kid, you know, he fucked up and he's probably screwed now. But I do think this 2 counts of murder, one, let's hang this kid, might be a little extreme. But the legal argument can be made, man. If you go and do like a home invasion, you see this in Florida all the time. If I talk Royce into robbing the neighbors, and I go, bro, let's go break into these people's houses. I'm 80% sure they're not home. And Royce is like, all right, fine, let's go. We break into the house, right? We don't have any guns. We just break in because we thought nobody was home. A homeowner is home. A homeowner shoots Royce in the face. I fucking escape. I'm getting charged with murder because we were in the commission of a felony and somebody got killed. That murder is on me. That's the legal definition of it. Anytime you're in the commission of a felony, that you initiated and somebody gets killed, or even if you're just a part of it, you could have been the fucking getaway driver. Me and another guy could go in. That guy could get shot in the head. I could get shot in the head. You could have gotten told you're just the getaway driver. You're getting 2 counts of murder. That's the way it is. So this is going to be a very slippery slope. I think the people that are calling him a white nationalist, vigilante, Frank Castle type are retarded. I also think that the people saying this kid is 100% innocent as baby Jesus and didn't do nothing are also retarded. As soon as this kid made it, after watching the RAM, the Rise Against movement, or the Rise Above movement, after watching what happened in Charlottesville, after watching what happened in all these other places, if you're going to grab a gun that's not yours and leave your house in Illinois and drive over to Wisconsin to voluntarily participate in a dangerous riot, you have to assume some level of responsibility here.
Look, I will say that, the crossing the state lines, the underage gun thing, I'm with all that. But outside of that, I don't see him. I don't think he should be charged with murder.
Outside of stealing a gun and crossing state lines. But then again, that's a felony. You brought a stolen gun to a riot.
Right.
It's going to be very easy for them. Honestly, I don't think that kid went out there intending to kill anybody. I don't think so. But if you don't think, it's not going to be easy to prove intent to a fucking jury that's brainwashed already by CNN every day. And Lars is saying you can bring a gun anywhere in the country. Yes, Lars, when it's your gun. And it may be his gun legally. But it's going to be very hard to make a case for why did you, 17-year-old kid with no skin in this game, just take it upon yourself to grab a rifle and head into that area. It seems...
Well, I don't know. So did he go by himself? Because that's the other thing that
he was alone.
I'm not clear. Well, did someone bring him there? Did he get in a car by himself, take the gun? Did he go by, that's what I'm saying. I really don't think that this should be a murder case. Look, I absolutely think that there's going to be some sort of repercussions for it, but I don't think this is going to be a murder case. It shouldn't be. I mean, it might be because that's what they're going to do. And if he's 17 and so it can't be his gun, that's a good point. So it's definitely not his gun if he's 17.
He's fucked here. I hate to say it, but he's fucked here. There's just no. You can make the argument that it's an unfortunate situation, and maybe he's a good kid, and maybe he doesn't deserve all this. But deserve ain't got shit to do with it when you grab a gun, cross state lines, and say I'm jumping in the mix.
Okay, but even if he did all that and all that, there's absolutely I understand he broke the law for doing all those things. Okay. But if he was defending himself, regardless of whether the gun was his or not, if he was defending himself from being attacked, which is what it looks like was happening, I still don't think that's murder.
If it's not your AR that you're shooting people in the face with, unfortunately, you're now in the commission of a felony, though.
Perfect.
It's in the commission of a felony.
Okay, so here's an example.
There's a lot of dudes spending life in prison, and every day they're going, it's not fair. Fair ain't got shit to do with it.
Somebody's attacking you. All right? You pick up a gun that's not yours, that's on the floor, and you defend yourself. Are you going to go to jail because it's not your gun?
That's a different situation. That's not getting in a car and driving all the way across state lines to participate in a situation like this. It's not the same. You're comparing apples and oranges. Yeah, he defended himself, fine, but he defended himself in a situation he drove to. He parked, he paid for parking. You know what I mean? We're not talking about a fucking situation that he didn't know. This isn't a guy who was walking through the mall and a bunch of fucking you-know-whats came along and hit him with a fucking brick and tried to take us, and then he started shooting people. This is a kid that woke up that day, got dressed, got his best olive fucking colored shirt on and his best fatigue pants, grabbed a gun that wasn't his, and crossed state lines with it to get involved in a riot. It's... Legally, they got this kid. I think it's fucked. I think everybody he shot was a garbage person. It's unfortunate that it wasn't 3 counts, in my opinion. But that being said, My opinion ain't going to mean jack shit when this kid is charged for murder in the commission of a felony because he had a stolen gun. That's just the way the law works. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just telling you how it's going to work out.
Yeah, but how many people show up to these things with guns that aren't theirs? How many?
And they
people
should
show
all
up
go to jail
and
too. They should. The ones that are opening fire, I'm sorry, not the ones that show up. If they're carrying legally, if you're showing up again, 17 with a gun that doesn't belong to you, this is what's gonna fuck him. We could talk about what's fair. If the gun's not his, he's fucked. He's fucked. He's eating those murder charges if that gun was not him. That's the way it goes. The Ram 8 already proved if you're going to drive across straight lines and you're going to brag about how you're going to go in and get involved in this shit, then fucking you're going to have to pay the consequences. All these motherfuckers that are defending this kid are the same ones that tell me being a responsible gun owner is important, right? We shouldn't let people be irresponsible with guns. It makes all gun owners look bad. We're going to get our guns taken away if people keep acting reckless with guns. Well, a 17-year-old stealing a gun and going across state lines to get in the mix. Look, to quote the fucking the lawyer from The Wire when he said to the strip club owner, you wanted to be in the game, now you're in the game. It sucks.
I mean, again, look, I'm not a lawyer, obviously. I don't pretend to be one, so I don't know. But what I do know here is that this is more gray area than just, that's it, you're fucked, whatever. I think that the other stuff that he did may have been illegal. Well, it was illegal, not may have been. But he, in that situation, let's say he got him in this situation, what should he have done as he's being attacked? Just let him kill him? I mean, that's my point, you know?
I get your point in that moment. My point is that doesn't erase every decision that was made in the 24 hours leading up to him being there. That's all going to come into play when he is on trial. I'm trying to look at this through the lens of how this is going to play out in a court of law. That's how this is going to play out in a court of law. Okay? They're going to go, what were you doing there? Why were you there? Why did you drive all that way? Why did you grab this gun? Why did you do this? This all shows intent. Whether you guys want this kid to walk or not. I know you really want him, and I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about some of the people that are he was totally innocent. I know you want to, he's white and he's young and you want him to walk. I get it. But the unfortunate reality of the situation is they're going to, and this is coming from a guy who thinks that James Alex Fields was pretty much innocent. And I've stuck to that. So this isn't about me being a Jew or a liberal or being scared to take a fucking position that's uncomfortable or might get me in trouble. I think James Alex Fields was innocent of all the crimes they fucking charged him with. This kid is far less innocent when you look at the stats of this case than James Alex Fields was. James Alex Fields didn't have a gun on him. He wasn't out looking for trouble. He was in his car. He was trying to get the fuck out of there. Daryl Dixon bragged about pulling an AR on him and sticking it in his fucking, basically at his window. He takes off. He runs into a car panicked. Another car hits another car. Some fat girl has a heart attack. Boom, he's doing 400 years in prison. I think that kid didn't deserve what happened to him. This is going to be a little different situation because this kid made bad decisions leading up to his getting, say, skateboard swung at him. That's all I'm saying. It's all going to factor into this.
I mean, you're right. I'm not saying that it's not going to factor into it. I understand what you're saying. I'm saying that regardless of the situation he got himself into, I look, I see that they charge him with murder. I don't see that charge sticking. I don't. I really don't. Maybe it will. Maybe they're gonna make some sort of
He might be found not guilty. I'm not saying he won't. But that charge is sticking.
I really don't think that they're going to that they're going to be able to stick murder one on him. I really don't. I don't think that they can. I think that if he went out there and popped somebody in the head from the back, or if he's being attacked, fine. It's, I guess, what case they could make, right? So, there were two shootings. I know there were two shootings.
And where's the father? If this were a black kid, we'd all be saying, where's the father, right? 17-year-old? 17-year-old kid grabs a fucking long gun and runs into a riot. Where's the father? These are valid questions. I know he's white, so it's uncomfortable. I know he was based, so it's uncomfortable to ask. Where was the father? Where was the guidance in this kid's life? This kid made a kid decision with very adult toys, and he ended up in a very bad situation. And guess what? The legal system is going to fuck his ass raw.
Well, so let me. Okay, so let me ask this so we get it clear. You are separating your personal views of what you think should happen to him versus what you think is going to happen to him. Correct?
For the most part,
What do you like? If you in an ideal world, the situation was exactly the same. What do you think should happen to him?
Well, like I said earlier, there should be a nuanced conversation like there used to be, and you could actually get lawyers to sit down and work out a deal and say, look, we're not going to charge this kid with murder one, but he broke some laws here and we have to do something. And he would get some charges and there would be a structured plea deal. But that's not going to happen.
And maybe that's what will happen.
It's not in this day and age. It ain't happening. They're going to crucify this kid. If you're expecting anything less, then you're still clinging to the hope from fucking 2016. They're going to string this kid up. And
I hope not.
It's going to be very hard to make the argument on his behalf like it was with James Fields, because, again, James Fields had a car accident. This kid, again, made a day's worth of decisions that led to the... You know what I mean? As soon as that fucking skateboard was swinging at him, it should have been record scratch. Brrr! Gee, I bet you're wondering how I got into this situation. I'll tell you how you got into that situation by a series of your own decisions that day. Why do you think we always tell people don't go to these fucking things? Don't go to them.
These things are getting
don't go to
really,
them.
really bad.
Stop going to them. Stop going. 3 years ago, we said stop fucking going to them. So,
and listen, I agree with the stop going to them mentality, because I've said the same thing, with the Charlottesville stuff. But even Charlottesville, was nothing compared to what's happening in every city. Not going to things like Charlottesville because it's a white supremacist rally, whatever you want to call it. Let's just say, use a narrative. I understand. Hey, don't go to this because, it's going to be bad. It's going to look bad, whatever. But the not going to a thing, if the police aren't doing anything and they're burning your city down, should you still just not go to it and let them burn your city down?
This wasn't his city.
I'm not.
I was gonna say,
relax. I'm not fighting with you.
No, I know.
I'm asking a proverbial. I'm not talking about him specifically. Okay. I'm talking in general,
all
right?
I'll answer your question.
Let's say it is your city.
People are shooting up the city. People are burning it down. You're asking me, should I just sit there and let it happen? I have some follow-up questions for this quiz.
Sure.
Number one, am I a police officer?
No.
All right. Number two, am I a firefighter?
I don't know. I don't know your background.
And number three, am I a paramedic?
Again, Mike, I don't know. Maybe you are.
If the answer is no to these three questions, stay the fuck home. Okay? Stay home. If you really cared about private property rights and defending your loved ones on your own property, you wouldn't have lived in a city. Okay? But you do, okay? Cities have all kinds of shitty rules, and they stack people on top of each other, and it's terrible. Get out of the city. If you really want that stand your ground shit, go live out in the fucking suburbs and have your own property and defend it.
Yeah,
but these people live in the city, and so what do you just go out? Everybody get involved. Everybody start burning. Everybody start shooting at each other.
First off, I never said that. Okay,
but you're implying that sitting there doing nothing isn't the right way to go. It is the right way to go. Don't involve yourself. If it doesn't involve you or your property, stay home.
If they're not, if the cops aren't doing anything, and they're not doing anything, if the cops aren't stopping anything, if the cops can't, let's say you're even thin blue line, if the cops are incapable of stopping anything, do you honestly think that it's going to stop in the cities? We thought this was just going to be in Minneapolis, and then it became these other cities and these other cities. And by the way, this city, this Kenosha city, this isn't a bustling, fucking huge city either.
150,000 people.
No, I know, but compared to,
it's still a city.
Yeah. Compared to that, I'm just saying that you think it's going to stop in the city? Do you think that if nobody does anything, and by the way, this is not me implying that you should do something. Please do not take that out of what I'm saying. But I'm just asking a hypothetical question. Is it going to stop in the cities? What happens when they get bored at the cities? What happens what happens when a cop kills somebody in a suburb?
So you're right. So go out there, be vigilantes, but be ready to assume the legal fucking consequences of going out there and playing Punisher. Period. I'm not telling you any of you what to do with your lives. If you want to get strapped, go to the mattresses and head on out to Kenosha and go get some, go ahead. But I would say be prepared to be arrested for it. We've already established a long time ago. The system's not on your side, okay? They're not enforcing the rules equally. So if you want to go walk into a trap, go walk into a trap. But if a 17-year-old kid walks into a trap,
hot?
If a 17-year-old is walking into a trap like this, then where's his dad? Where's his family? Who was around to stop this kid? Because this was absolutely retarded decision making. Yes, I think that anybody who grabs a gun and heads out and goes, we're going to go down there and counter. Yes, I think you're fucking stupid. I think you're dumb. I think that your ability to care for and provide for your family doesn't mean as much to you as getting out there and getting some. That's what I think. I think that if you want to have a future and a life, right now ain't the time to be running out there with guns and trying to be a tough guy. I just don't think so. Yeah, it sucks. The cops aren't doing their jobs. I get it. I've been saying for fucking weeks now, somebody needs to step in and do the police's job. I 100% agree. Most of these mayors need to be brought to the guillotine. I completely agree with you, but it's not happening. So the alternative is go out there and throw your life away. So God bless. Good luck if you want to do that.
Look, and I. The last part of what you said, I do agree with. You don't want to what happened to this kid. I get that. I'm asking a bigger question. I'm not asking the specifics of. I guess what I'm saying is that I'm not even asking you because I know you can't answer. Nobody could really answer it. But at what point cops can't handle it, right? Nobody could handle it. How many cities are going to be burned down? They're not going to get bored. They're not going to get bored of doing this because they're getting away with it. They can't keep getting away with it. They're getting away with it. So what do? Does everybody move to Montana? Does everybody move to Idaho? Does everybody move to the middle of nowhere? I mean, the point is, how many cities do you let fall? How many cities do you let to be burned to the ground? How many businesses that you go to do you let be destroyed? I don't know the answer. I'm not saying I know the answer. I'm just saying that it doesn't look like the just don't show up angle is going to work.
But this also the flip side to that is this weird, like Travis Bickle martyr fantasy everybody has. I need to step up and save the city. It's up to me. Like I'm like what? These people are fucking Batman? They're retards with AR-15s that probably have way too many attachments on them because they don't even know how to use one. These are not people that need to be. We don't need to be adding more morons in the streets with guns just because they have this, because they voted for the same fucking reality TV guy as us. Like, that's not gonna, you know what I mean? We've been sitting here condemning for weeks these people running around with guns, shooting shit up, burning shit. If the antidote is more of the poison, but these are Republicans, so it's cool, it's based, then we're really no, we need to combat the poison with more poison. But this is red poison, not blue poison. So it's not gonna help. It's gonna make things worse. I'm telling people, yes, stay the fuck home.
Well, I mean,
you're not the police, you're not the firefighters, you're not the EMTs. Nobody's charged you with this. It's not on you. It's not your responsibility. I'm absolving you from whatever little fucking hero fantasy you have in your heads out there, guys. Don't worry. If the city falls, it's not on you. You're absolved of that.
Okay, but you also said before that, well, just don't live in the city. For some people, that's possible. For some people, it's not that easy. Especially now, it's not easy to get a job with the COVID stuff, right? If you have a job, you're not going to go, I'm fucking out of here. You're going to find a job in Butte. It's
not easy, right? But it's a choice.
No, I understand. But my point is, until you find that job, let's say you live in the city. You live in the city for a long time. A lot of people live in the city. So you live in the city. Some people Not all of them. I'm not saying not the ones that drove there, but some people are defending their homes. Should the people, because the people decided to, whatever circumstances they're in, have to live in the city? Should they pay the price for making a decision to live in a metropolis? Like that's the part where I'm like, I don't get that. Like there's a lot of people that live that live outside of the city but have to drive in the city for work, and that's where their job is at. Their job gets burned down. They can't go there. I just don't think because you're in a city, then, well, that's your fault for living there. I don't know, man. I don't think that's fair to everyone. And paint everyone with a blanket like they're all retards for living in the big city.
You're not retard for living in the city up until about 6 months ago. But at this point, if you're still in the city, and if the thing that's keeping you in the city, per your argument, is, well, I just put in a bunch of new applications for a new copywriting job, so I'm going to stay here in the middle of fucking ground zero of flames and riots in case I get that new gig I wanted, then yeah, that's where you live now. That's the choice you're making. I'm not saying everybody should white flight out into the fucking suburbs either, but if the argument against that is, no, we need to start getting more involved, what do? I'm telling you what you should do. Not get involved. Stay out of it. You just saw what happened with this kid, right? You want to end up like him? Okay, so this is basically the most logical breakdown of this. We've just watched multiple people over several years do a thing. Every one of those people is now doing time. Do you want to do time? Okay, then don't do the thing. It's that simple. They're not going to enforce the rules against the mob. They're going to enforce them against you. If you want to keep falling for the trap, by the way, they're baiting you into going out there and doing this shit. They're baiting you into going out there and doing this so that every 3 months they can have a fucking national headline red ball story about a white nationalist who went crazy and shot a bunch of people. And you're giving it to them. Just don't, like, and the people saying just give up. No, somewhere in between giving up completely and loading an AR and driving across state lines into a town you don't live in, somewhere in the middle there is what you should be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I also would say that for some people, I don't think it's just as easy as getting up and leaving. I know it's not. I know for some people, it's not just as simple as going, well, I'm going to leave. I'm just pack my bags and get going.
Then you're choosing, but then that's you saying you're choosing to stay. Again, if people, there's plenty of footage of people in fucking Beirut and Iraq and Baghdad who got fucking blown up and bombed and killed and shot at, and eventually they fucking left. Their whole lives were there. For fucking hundreds of years, the Al-Khakh family were prominent in Baghdad. We were the premier furniture salesman in all of Baghdad for fucking 15 generations. But you know what? Things got bad enough and people had to leave eventually. That's the reality of it. Things are getting bad there. There's no future in Portland. If your plan is to keep the coffee shop open in Portland, then it's a bad plan. It's as bad of a plan as let me load up the AR and head on out to Kenosha so I can save people. Because, again, there's a reason why they made Taxi Driver. See, Travis Bickle thought he was the hero. That was the whole point of the movie. Get strapped, get out there, and clean up the filth in this city. That's, okay? You're not Rorschach, okay? If you want to have a family and a life eventually, don't drive into the flames with a gun. This isn't a guy defending his home, Royce. This kid was not.
I understand. I thought we had moved on. I was moving on to another.
Well, I mean, the city's, but this is this. It's indicative. It's the same argument of how involved do you get, and my whole point is that if you want to live your life, don't get involved in this shit. Just don't.
I mean, I guess if you live in the city or whatever, for the people driving out there, I'll agree with you there. For people driving out there, you don't have to do that. But if you live in the city, it's hard not to get involved when your apartment complex is burning down.
Well, yeah, and if this kid shot somebody in the face in front of his own apartment complex, we'd be having a totally different conversation about him specifically. I'm absolutely okay with you mowing people down in and around your own property if they are threatening you and hurting your life. I'm more than okay with that. I'm not saying people shouldn't defend themselves, but it's kind of hard to make the self-defense angle when you drove 3 hours. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to go, well, you're defending yourself from what? Well, where are you from? Well, I'm from Antioch. Oh, Illinois. You're from Illinois? Yeah, I came over because I felt the people of Kenosha needed me. Like, do you understand how fucking so? But I'm not making that argument for a guy who's walking his dog outside of his apartment, or those people in what was that, Louisville, where they had the guns drawn. I was 110% pro fucking Ken and Karen. Those people ruled because they were standing on their own property with a goddamn what's that called? Bloody Mary. One of them had a Bloody Mary on the table and a rifle. That shit was fucking Chad as fuck. But again, you're gonna make a whole bunch of decisions to go into the fire. I can't defend you, man.